What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. Just off heading to work right now, so I'm a little tired. So if I sound like I'm getting my words a little mixed up, I apologize. I've been working a lot lately, so yeah. But anyways, so a lot of you who are watching this, I'm sure by now you've heard about the Ukrainian woman that was stabbed randomly in a bus in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, first and foremost, I will say my heart goes out to that woman's family, all of her friends, and everybody that cared for her. Nobody should ever just be killed in a tragedy like that. You know, I definitely think that this could have been well avoided, and I will talk about why I say that here shortly. You know, there's a lot of other people on that bus too, and while I will say that I do understand why a lot of people didn't do much because he had a knife, like at the same time, I'm mad that something was not done. Like when I looked at the video, there was a lot of people that were just kind of sitting there and were not really doing much as the dude was walking away, and as the woman was just, you know, holding herself where she was just stabbed, and she was super frightened at the moment. Probably didn't know what to do. She was bleeding, and a lot of people just sat there and watched. I'm sure maybe there was people that weren't on video that probably did something. Who knows? But I tell you what, man. From what I've learned about this dumbass that decided to frickin' stab that woman randomly, he should have not even been walking free. This dude has been in trouble with the law multiple frickin' times. But no, he kept getting let off. He was able to walk free. He was able to go do this. He was able to go do that. But the dude's been arrested multiple times. And even from what I understand, even his mom knew that the guy had issues. She even said, hey, I'm worried about how my son is, and okay, I don't know the full story about that. This is stuff that I've been told, but from what I understand, the mom of that guy even knew that he had issues, and I guess she kicked him out of her place. If that's not correct information, that's not information I came up with. So I apologize if that's not right. But regardless, his mom and maybe a few other people in his family even knew that this dude had issues. Yet he was still able to walk free, and nothing happened. In my opinion, this is a tragedy that could have been 100% preventable. But no, since we have so many judges out there that probably only show up just to do their jobs, be like, okay, well, you've been in trouble for this and that, but hey, we're not going to sentence you with this and that, blah, blah, blah. Maybe judges don't think like that. Maybe they do. I don't know. I guess it depends on the judge. But in situations like this, considering the dude never sat in prison for a period of time, or never had to face this and that for his consequences, I blame the judges for not throwing this dude behind bars, because that's where he should have been. But no, we're going to keep giving criminals chances, no matter what the hell happens, up until something major happens, like they kill somebody, or something similar happens. It's just like the one dude in California a few years back, who, from what I understand, he had been charged multiple times. I think close to 20 times, if I remember correctly. And maybe that's not the right one. I don't know. It's been a year or two since I looked into this situation. But just like the one dude who had been arrested multiple times and was set free, and then went to a store, I believe it was a furniture store or something like that. There was one woman working there, and the woman had weird vibes about the dude, and nobody answered her text. And the dude, sure enough, ended up stabbing her to death. And her, a customer or whatever that came in shortly after found her dead. That's a situation right there that I think could have been prevented had judges gotten their crap together and locked that dude up. And then another situation in this matter that I'd like to bring up is a freaking woman down in Florida. I don't remember if they said that she lived in Florida or not, but 13 felonies. Well, I don't think they were all felonies. Some of them were misdemeanors. But regardless, this woman had been in trouble multiple times and had some serious issues, yet she was still able to walk free. And a few days after she had been let free, she was at some store parking lot. She tried to take some people's keys or whatever. And then a cop shows up, tried to talk to her, and then she hops in the police cruiser and then takes off, leads other police on a chase, and then ends up hitting some people head on in a pickup truck. Killed 2 people in that truck, and also killed herself too when she hit them head on. And then, if I ain't mistaken, I believe they said weeks or months later, there was a third person in the pickup truck that ended up losing their life because of the injuries. That's another situation that could have been prevented 100% had judges acted up. If you ask me, our justice system is screwed up. There are so many situations out there that shouldn't even be happening, but happen because judges don't want to do their damn jobs and hold criminals accountable anymore. This situation on that bus in Charlotte could have been 100% preventable. Same thing with some of the other tragedies that I brought up. I get it. Nobody can really predict what will happen in like a year or 2, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 or 8 years. I get it. But if somebody has been in trouble with the law multiple times and they keep doing it, keep doing things that will get them in trouble, they shouldn't even be walking free. I am sorry, but I tell you what, man, the fact that we have so many people out there that get in trouble with the law repeatedly, and nothing much ends up happening to them. And then they walk free, and then stuff like this happens. You know, this situation, the situation in California I mentioned, the situation in Florida that I mentioned. There's a few other situations I could bring up too. You know, remember the Times Square situation that happened back in May of 2017, where a guy decided to drive his car onto a sidewalk, killed a bunch of people, injured a bunch of people, and killed one woman? You guys might think I'm joking when I say this, but that one woman that was killed that day was somebody that I went to school with. She had graduated high school a year before I did. She was visiting New York to see her dad and I believe a few other people. You know, just her and her sister were just walking down the sidewalk, just minding their own business, having a good time, and then boom, she gets hit by a car on the sidewalk. Because, quite frankly, the dude, even though he had been in trouble multiple times, threatened a woman with a knife or whatever, and even did a few other things that should have landed his ass in prison, he still got to walk free. There's multiple other situations I can bring up in cases like that, but I will end it there. This is a situation that could have been prevented 100% had the judges just gotten their crap together. But no, it's cool. Let's keep giving criminals chances. Oh, you know, they didn't learn the first 3 times. Maybe they'll learn this time. Oh, they didn't learn the first 7 or 8 times, so let's give them another chance. Like, come on, man. So many innocent people out there end up losing their lives because we have these criminals who want to keep going out and about hurting people for no damn reason other than the fact that they're probably screwed up in the heads and they think, oh, well, you know, actually, I don't know what the hell flies through their minds. I couldn't imagine just sitting there and just wanting to freaking randomly stab some woman that's sitting right in front of me or any other person and just randomly stab them. Like, if I was that type of person, I'd be worried about what God thinks of me. But, you know, I mean, to a lot of people out there that don't believe in God, you know, I guess that's something that doesn't fly through their head. So go figure on that. But to me, on the other hand, if I was to ever think about that, I'd be worried about what God thinks of me. That's for sure. I will never understand why people like that exist. And you got people, you know, not so much people that are defending this dude, but you got a lot of people out there that are like, oh, well, he was probably homeless. You know, he was probably going through this and that. He was probably dealing with this. He was probably dealing with that. He wasn't right in the head. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, regardless of what the excuse is, I am sorry, but if you feel like you need to go and kill somebody for no reason other than the fact that you're probably effed up in the head, you shouldn't even be walking free then. You need to go get some serious freaking help. You know, people sit there and say guns are a problem. You know, people talk about how this is an issue, that's an issue. You know, sit there and bring up this and that. Well, what do you call situations like this? Because there's a lot of situations out there like this that have been happening more and more. But hey, let's focus on gun issues, shall we? But no, since this wasn't an issue of that, you know, doesn't fit the media narrative. Guess we're not worried about that. You know, I may have already said this in the video a few times, and I'll say it again. I think each and every judge that has sentenced this dude, or didn't even give him a sentence to begin with, needs to be fired and held accountable for what happened. Because I'm telling you what, man, this is a situation that should have never happened. And I think the judges that have tried this dude are to blame for him walking free and causing this issue. That woman that was stabbed, you know, it's pretty sad that, you know, she left her home country of Ukraine 3 years ago to get away from the madness that's going on between there and Ukraine, only to be stabbed by some lousy lunatic who had nothing better to do in his life and decided to freaking stab her for no reason. Like I said, I will never understand people who think that that's okay. This is a sad situation, that's for sure. That's all I have to say for this video. Sorry if I sounded like I was speaking a little bit gibberish, or I apologize that this video turned out to be a long video. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you shouldn't be doing this while driving. My full attention is on the road. I didn't look at my camera much, as you probably noticed. My full attention was on the road. Like I said, hope everybody's having a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. I'm out of here. You guys all take care now.